Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. We're going to have another What Sold on eBay today with actually lots of high-end items today. So definitely go and watch the whole video. Also, anytime this video, if you learn anything new, definitely click the like button and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications as we're getting close to 7,000 followers. So we really appreciate everyone's support throughout the year and the new year. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. So let's get right into the goodies, shall we? Up first, we have this authentic Chanel two-pocket tweed jacket blazer. This is a size 46, and it is an amazing uh, older style piece. I wouldn't say it's older, but it definitely has that kind of vintage feel to it. As we can see, we got the Chanel tag here. And for those that look for these at thrift shops and garage sales and estate sales, definitely look for the quality. Sometimes you want to, anyone that's been in this business for a while could basically spot a fake by just touching and feeling. I know sometimes you can't really touch and feel, but uh, one of the things that you'll notice for any high-end products, and I wonder if we have any photos of that, is things like buttons and seams and things like that. These high-end products will generally not have flaws. I mean, of course, there's going to have flaws, but what I mean is stitching is going to look amazing. The buttons are going to look like they're molded fantastically, like great detail in the zipper. You can pretty much tell once you do this, once you're around these high-end brands for enough, you can pretty much just spot a fake from a mile away. But touching and feeling is definitely something uh, that you should definitely look out for this. But we took a best offer for this, and it was actually really good sale, probably the best sale of the week so far. So we'll continue to show you guys next time we get some more collections of Chanel. We got in a huge collection of Loro Piana over the last month, so we're still rolling those out. So we'll definitely be showing those at some point. Next up, we have this Marina e Susanna Scent Moreno Venice necklace, Italy, signed glass choker. You can look up this particular jewelry up in comps. It's pretty amazing. This was actually signed also, and very contemporary, I would say, for sure. Some of the other pieces are just absolutely amazing. Usually, this Marina e Susanna uh, company artist, they have pretty much crazy glass jewelry, glassware, and this one happens to be like this like rope choker, which is absolutely fabulous. And I was really impressed by this. And doing research on this particular artist, this particular company was fascinating in itself. So definitely go and look up this brand. If you ever see any kind of, like I said, you can tell this was super high end by just the. Let me see if I got a photo of these. Just like kind of the links, you can tell like that something is very high quality just by the way it's put together. So I mean, even if you're out there in the field and you've seen things that you're not quite sure what they are, quality will always stick out like a sore thumb, and especially if you know how to source and go with your gut and things like that. But this is actually a fabulous piece. We did take a best offer for this for less than $199, so this is definitely a bolo to look out for. You're not going to come across this stuff too often, but definitely go and research this if you're into looking at jewelry and things like that. Next up, we have this I almost said Star Wars, Star Trek Starship collection from Eagle Moss. Now, one of the things that I learned about this is Eagle Moss is a huge brand that does Star Trek goodies. I'm not sure if it's a monthly subscription box or it's like a kind of like a Franklin Mint where they only do Star Trek. But Eagle Moss is a brand to look out for. Now, the thing is, none of these things are branded Eagle Moss, which I thought was actually pretty interesting in itself. So it's a brand to look out for. They do kind of like Star Trek models that are made out of die cast, which is metal, and they have some pretty good weight and some pretty good detail. They're not super high end, but we had a huge collection of these come in, and they're starting to piece out. I sold a bigger one for like $60, but anyways, this sold for $19.99 plus $9.99 shipping. Next up, we have this Super Mario Smash Brothers Melee or Melee, you want to say. This came from GameCube. So those that don't know, if you look at this logo up here in the top corner or top of this thing, it says Nintendo GameCube. Always scan those every time you see those. GameCube and Nintendo 64, Super. I mean, all the retro gaming stuff over the last 5 to 10 years has really taken up, and I kick myself for not expanding my collections when I was younger. As a matter of fact, I in the early 2000s I had a website that was dedicated to Super Nintendo and Nintendo price guide. So it was an online price guide. This was like, I mean, like, eBay was out for maybe like 10 or 5 to 6 years at that point, and I used eBay pricing as the kind of price guide indicator. It was actually pretty crazy. It was a lot of hard work, but I had a huge collection in the early 2000s and sold it all for like pennies on the dollar. That, when I look at the prices today, I literally threw away thousands of dollars along with my comic book collection, which I still, it's one of those things that, I saw the future. I saw today, 2019 prices in 2001. I knew that video games were going to be the new baseball cards. So basically, baseball cards from the 50s and the 60s and the 40s, in the early 2000s, the 80s were, collectors wanted them. I knew that our generation in 10 to 20 years we're going to be collecting these like baseball cards, and it certainly did happen. So we're here now, but wow, that was kind of a little bit of a sideways track there. But so let's just go over this real quick. GameCube games, they come in like these little tiny discs. They're not the normal size of a CD-ROM. They're probably about half the size of a CD-ROM, and just look for scratches and things like that. Now, if you have a resurfacer or anything like that, you can definitely resurface these. If it's heavily scratched, that's another situation. Some collectors actually will purchase these with heavy scratches, and definitely we have a testing station, and this was tested and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, when I get the new office up, we're going to have a whole testing station, and I can't wait to show you guys that whole thing. But anyways, we went on a little bit too long on this. What I was meant to say was definitely look out for GameCube games. You're going to see the logo up here. These black bars on the top, they're called black labels because some of the newer, so this game came out maybe 3 or 4 times, the same game, and it'll have different things, like it'll say like a million sold or bestseller or things like that. But when you find the GameCube ones that have this black slash or sash on the top, those were the very first issues that came out. So there's that. Next up, we have this Easton 1979 book, The Federalist, the Constitution. I'm not quite sure this was a Franklin Mint one. But anyways, I want to show you guys that, we do sell books and things like that to look out for stuff with nice bindings. They're kind of like leather bindings. Look for those at garage sales and thrift stores. Some of these are actually, they're not huge money, but, if you can pick up these kind of books for under $1, 25 cents, 50 cents, and they're like in amazing condition, they're definitely worth picking up and looking up. And even if you take them home and they're not worth anything, you can always redonate them to another place or library. Some libraries will actually take in books and things like that too, and it's a tax write-off. But contact your local library for that for sure. And I just want to show you guys that, we still are getting into the book business because lots of books get donated every day. That's a whole other story in itself. Next up, we have another Super Mario, or actually another Nintendo GameCube game. This one doesn't even have the box, and it sold we took a best offer for $30 on this, plus $3.99 shipping. This was Mario Sunshine. It had an immaculate back, which was incredible considering it was loose. It was in actually another game case, so it was kind of funny because I saw the game. It was Zelda, and I was excited, and then I opened it up, and it was Mario Sunshine. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's still two pretty good games. But when I looked at the back, I'm like, this thing's probably going to be all scratched up. The back was pretty much like near mint. And one of the things that these games get scratched so easily. Anyways, like I said, a loose game, no packaging, no contents, no instruction books, sold for $30. So definitely look out for GameCube games. Next up, we have this set of 16 vintage China Federal shape Suzanne salad plates. These were actually really cool. They came in a foam. I can't even describe it. It's almost like, I can't even describe it. It's like a plastic round thing that these all come in. And shipping these was a little interesting. If you're ever shipping plates, Make sure you put some foam or something, even bubble wrap, I guess, will work in between all the plates, and then try to sandwich them together as tightly as possible. Because if there's any space in between these plates when they get shipped, because I don't know, shipping is crazy. They throw the boxes around. When they slap and they impact each other is when they tend to crack. So if you can put them all together like pancakes, put stuff in between them, and I'm going to do actually a video on this next time once I get the office set up, because that's a whole other thing. But anyways, just make sure that you put these together, you bubble wrap them. What I even like to do is get a box where there's space around the whole package of plates. So like packing peanuts and things like that, where when the box is dropped, there's a little bit of give in the box. Um, when you seal the box and close the box for plates, you do the shake test, and that's another video that I'm gonna make. Uh, the shake test, if you feel like they're shaking, like the stuff's in there, you obviously got to put more packing material. The shake test is you want to grab the box and shake it and feel nothing, like just feel a solid object. That's good where you want to do plates, and it's going to be extremely less likely that plates and glass are going to break if you follow these kind of steps and everything. And for those that have been in this game for a long time, you know how to ship glass. There's been things that I've shipped like amazingly well that have broke in their travels. It's just, that's glass is very a delicate kind of a thing to begin with. So I try to stay away from glass, but now I've been pulled back into pulled back. They Every time I try to leave, they pull me back in. It's one of those situations. So we get glass in, and it's one of those things that I'm definitely studying up on. Once again, I am Chris Thrift Hustler. I really appreciate your time. If you found any of this stuff knowledgeable, or if you just want to be nice and just leave a click the like button, follow, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think if you have any questions or anything like that, and we'll see you next time. Take care.